In 1988, I found myself fighting for my mom against cancer, medical shortcomings, and family tensions. Stay tuned. The macrobiotic counselor's brown curls graze her shoulders. She greets me with a calm, Zen-like demeanor. She's overweight, which I find ironic, and she's a hippie. Well, so am I, but I manage to keep my 60s proclivities under wraps. I hand the counselor my mother's photo, which she studied. Your mother appears to be fairly healthy. I suggest you prepare her meals. Hospital food is the worst. She recommends brown rice, aduki beans, miso soup with kombu, and bancha tea. I want to believe this woman, so I take copious notes, thank her, and drive straight to the health food store in 5 Points to stock up on the counselor's list of provisions. Back at the hospital, I head straight to the nurse's station. I'm wondering, may I cook food for my mother here? One of the overcheery nurses jumps up. Follow me. She leads me down the hall to a spacious, well-outfitted kitchen. You're free to use the kitchen whenever you like. The nurses are kind, accommodating, not a nurse ratchet in the bunch. I prepare the food using recipes from the Macrobiotic way. The odors emanating from the aduki beans are more pungent than I remember. The aroma is so strong in this sterile environment. Woo! A man enters and makes a strange face. Sorry. I place everything on a tray. The brown rice and aduki beans appear harmless enough. The seaweed and scallions float on top of the red fermented miso soup. I'm pleased with myself and hold my breath as Mom takes a bite and puts down her fork. No, thank you. Mom, you have to eat. Mm-mm. I'm triggered. I want to scream, Mom, you have stage 4 cancer. Your tumor's the size of a grapefruit. You have to eat. What don't you understand? Eat or die. I'm in panic mode, but say as calmly as a mother reasoning with a 2-year-old throwing a tantrum in the grocery store, Mom, you need to eat. The Surgeon General says we're not supposed to eat red meat anymore. I'm fine. No, you're not. You need to eat. This food cleans and purifies your system so you can heal. I'm not hungry. One more bite. For me, please. Mom, if you don't eat, they're going to feed you intravenously. She smiles. I walk back to the kitchen, brew a batch of bancha tea. Detach, Jill. Don't hook in. Make the tea. Mom's a tea drinker. Mom takes one sip of this swamp-like concoction and doesn't touch it again. Mom, this tea has healing properties. She blinks and smiles. She's not interested in eating my pungent food, and she's not eating the hospital food either. My mother is now being fed intravenously from the bag that hangs off the IV pole, allowing the fluid to flow into her arm. I study the contents of the liquid listed on the label. The first ingredient is fat. After that, sugar. My macrobiotic research clearly states fat and sugar feed the tumor. I go to the nurse's station. Can you please change what you're feeding my mother? The nurse appears confused. The formula is fat and sugar. Fat and sugar feed the tumor. She reassures me. I'll check. My mother's formula has been changed. I read the contents. Sugar leads the ingredients this time, with fat followed close behind. Again, I approach the nurse at the station to request that my mother's formula be changed. This time, the nurse is not amused. We don't have anything else. I want to grab her and yell, this stuff is poison. The radiation isn't working. The tumor isn't shrinking. The cancer metastasized to my mother's brain. Well, of course, the cancer metastasized. Cancer is smart. Cancer runs and hides when assaulted by radiation. Modern medicine is so not working. My mother weighs 97 pounds, which isn't much for her 5'8" frame. Why can't I help her? Why can't I fix her? I don't understand. To clear my head in the afternoons when mom is having her radiation treatments, I drive to my parents' house about 30 minutes away and ride the stationary bike for an hour or so. Dad informs me you clocked 25 miles today. Einstein said time is an illusion. He's right. Time is meaningless. I couldn't tell you the day, date, or time, and I don't care. Everything has fallen away. There's no acting, no unhappy marriage, no job, no New York City. My focus is my mom and her well-being. Living in the hospital contributes to my sense of being untethered. I'm swimming in a sea of white. White walls, corridors, rooms. Everyone is dressed in white. I made the mistake of wearing white once, and as I walked down the hall, patients called after me from their beds, "Nurse! Oh, nurse, please, please, I need help." Note to self, never wear white, even after Memorial Day. Hospitals have a unique smell. It's a mixture of antiseptic, laced with disinfectant, bodily fluids, medications, and essential oils to mask the scent of fear and death. I've lived in my mom's room for so long, I no longer register the smell. Hospitals, like casinos, never shut down, rest, or turn off the lights. But instead of chips, you're gambling with your life. The game is rigged. The house is set up to win. Thank God for Dr. Rubin. In between long drags on her cigarette and her raspy New York accent, she encourages me during our weekly phone sessions. You're doing so well under the circumstances. Stay strong. Trust yourself. Don't let anybody push you around. Our sessions empower me and keep me focused and able to handle the mammoth task. Mom, Henry's mom's here. She opens her eyes in horror. Tell her I'm not here. Well, I'm pretty sure she knows you're here. Where else would you be? I don't want any visitors. Henry's mom understands. She hands me a bouquet, and in her typical dazed and faraway, prescription drug disconnected fashion smiles. Give her our best. My sister flies in from California, but leaves because she and her husband are due to go on vacation. My brother Rick comes to visit and acts like an idiot. 2 black X marks reside on either side of my mom's forehead for the radiation treatments. Rick starts laughing and points. Mom, oh, you look like Frankenstein. With those marks on your head? Oh, man. I shoot daggers towards him, but he's oblivious. I awaken during the night to discover Mom at the sink trying to scrub the excess off her face with a washcloth. Mom, what are you doing? I don't want these on my head. My heart is breaking. I gently take the washcloth from her. Doctors use those marks, Mom, for the radiation. One afternoon, after I finished my marathon stationary bike ride, my father said what he always said about Mom. She's gonna be fine. They're gonna zap her, and she'll be fine. I'm so sick and tired of hearing, "They're gonna zap her. She'll be fine." I want to scream, what planet are you living on, Mr. Big Shot Military War Hero, Mr. Denial? I try to straighten out his misconception. Dad, her situation is more complicated. Don't you tell me what's going on, young lady. I'm at the hospital, Dad. I talk with the doctors and nurses every day. Why aren't you at the hospital? I go to the hospital. No, you don't. I live in Mom's room. Have I seen you? The doctors didn't even know she had a husband. Now, I never challenged my father. My father doesn't allow himself to be confronted about anything. He is the commanding officer of the house. We follow his rules or suffer his wrath. Dad's furious. His face turns red. You need to go back to New York where you belong. Stop meddling in other people's business. The know-it-all from New York. That's what you are, the know-it-all from New York. I'm unsure if my newfound confidence is due to Dr. Rubin, 12-step, or a combo, but I'm not afraid. I stand my ground against my imposing war hero, Colonel Father, and declare, I'm not going anywhere. She's my mother, the only mother I'll ever have. I'm not leaving. Thanks so much for being here. It's so interesting. When I started telling this story about my mom last week, my throat completely closed up. You know, I had a sore throat, swollen glands, which is exactly what happened when I was living in the hospital with her. The body has memory. There's a book. The body keeps a score. That's what came into my head. And acting, if you're doing an emotional scene, your body doesn't know that you're acting. Your body thinks it's real. Interesting. Just an observation. Anyway, you guys, thanks so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, share. And thanks to everyone who bought me a coffee or a special thanks. I so appreciate your support and generosity. So a special thanks to JP Page 3292, Peter and Yvette, Steve and Sheila. I so appreciate your kindness and support. I'm sending a lot of love to LA, to all the firefighters and everybody who's there, and the animals. Ah, what a tragedy. And I'm sending lots of love to you guys. So until next week, mwah, mwah.